Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Today we are from Powerpuff Girls School would like to present our group essay regarding study on awareness of statutory employee rights among shuttle system in Sabah. Without further ado, I would like to start the presentation by explaining the abstract first. Generally, the purposes of these studies are one to discover the level of awareness of statutory employee rights among shuttle system in Sabah based on the Sabah Labour Ordinance 1950. Therefore, this study will use the primary data to collect all the data by the distributor of Google Form. Besides, our analysis shows that there are three significant results with a very low percentage of respondents unaware of their rights. This is consists of maternity leave, notice of termination, and sick leave payment. In addition, there are also challenges in implementing and enforcing the labor law in Malaysia.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. My name is Fiazin Aida Mitika Muhammad Yasin. I present on the introduction. Generally, the shop assistant is require a low skill labor and can be found in service sector. The main purpose to ensure the best service to their customer. What is the relationship between employees and employers? The relationship between employees and employers can be related by Employment Act contract. Malaysia has three Employment Acts, which are Employment Act 1955, used in Peninsular Malaysia and Labuan, Sarawak Labour Ordinance 1952, which used in Sarawak, and Sabah Labour Ordinance 1950, which we call as SLO. We use the Employment Act in our essay, and Sabah Labour Ordinance used in Sabah.
Next, in terms of methodology, we had used two types of method to complete the study. The first one is primary data. This data was collected through the question A, which we distributed the Google form to reach out the targeted respondent. This question A consists of two sections. Section A covers the demographic respondent, while for section B emphasize on the employee's right. However, for the second methodology, which is the secondary data, we have taken it from a few types of sources such as publication, journal article, report by research institution, newspaper report, and government document. Then the result and finding of the analysis was estimated by using the graph table and percentage by the collected data, and we will try to evaluate by referring to the Sabah Labour Ordinance 1950.
Hi, my name is Nur Afika binti Bahar. For the literature review on what influenced the awareness of employment among employer and employee. According to Sapna in 2015, she found that there are two prominent causes of these differences, which are age and years of experiences. The age group below 25 years old are less aware than those in the age above 35 years old, and she found that the longer of years experiences, the higher the level of awareness. Besides, study by Ashari and Sohad in 2015, the level of awareness is quite similar based on their demographic data such as age, educational attainment, and involvement in companies' relations, except for the size of companies, where compared to smaller firms, the larger firm had greater awareness of the labor regulation. Lastly, the result in this research found that years of employment do not significantly influence, but it depends on the self-assessed awareness and knowledge of employment law.
To further this presentation, I will continue with analysis part. First, minimum wage, it shows less awareness with 36.3%. Limitation on advances of wages show high awareness with 61%. Hours of works shows less awareness with 45% was recorded. Leisure work, it shows high awareness with 36.3% was recorded. For the rest day, it shows high awareness with 72% was recorded. For the working on rest day, it shows less awareness with 60.6% was recorded. For the payment of working during rest day, it shows less awareness with 64% was recorded. Working during holiday shows less awareness with 69.7% was recorded. And for the last part of mine is payment for working on public holiday, which is less awareness with 75% was recorded. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ivory. Next, I will present the awareness on annual leave among shop assistants in Sabah. As stated in Sabah Labour Ordinance Section 104D, employee will be given annual leave based on their years of employment. In our survey, annual leave awareness is high, with 75.4% shop assistant aware and they are given annual leave. Second is sick leave, as stated in Section 104E, which also same as annual leave, which is based on employers' years of employment. So this type of awareness is less, with only 9.09% of shop assistants get sick leave from employer according to their years of employment. For maternity leave and allowance, which is based on Section 83, subsection 1 of SLO, shop assistant has less awareness on maternity leave, with only 21.2% of them get the right amount of days, which is 60 days, but have high awareness for maternity allowance with 30.3%. Next is wage deduction with Section 113, subsection 4, A and B. Shop assistants has high awareness on wage deduction with 87.9%, acknowledge the purpose of the wage deduction, such as for EPF and SOCSO. Lastly, giving notice of termination to employer and notice of termination given based on years of employment. As stated in Section 11, subsection 2, shop assistant has high awareness with 90%, 97% will give notice of termination before they terminate their contract of service, but less awareness on notice of termination based on years of employment with only 18.8%.
The main purpose of these regulations is to protect workers from misconduct by the employers. However, there are several obstacles in implementing this employment law in Malaysia. In the context of minimum wage, generally this regulation can increase household income and raises employee productivity. However, for employers, they suffer in negative impacts as operational costs increases, and the implication is much more severe on small businesses. And study found that this minimum wage regulation caused an increase in unemployment rate in Malaysia. Another challenge is the lack awareness of employment law. Overall result of our studies, we found only 2 labor regulations show a high percentage of awareness, above 80%. Although majority of the respondents represent 81.9%, have tertiary level of education. Besides, due to the lack of complaint by workers, employers and managers tend to neglect their responsibilities, as they consider managing and dealing with employees to be one of the most complicated and stressful parts of their jobs.
Next, I will present in the discussion the importance of the awareness of the statutory employees' rights. Okay, basically, I only highlight two important. Employees want to get equal benefits and protection. Number two is they can fight their rights according to the law.
In conclusion, based on the 15 analyses made from the result of our survey, we found that 6 labor regulations show a significantly low awareness of their right as an employee under the SLO. These regulations reported have less than half of the respondents unaware of their right, namely sick leave payment with 9.09%, notice of giving termination 18.8%, maternity leave and allowance 21.2%, maternity allowance 30.3%, leisure time and minimum wage 26.3%, and hours of work 45%. From the data collected, majority of the respondents have a tertiary level of education. This means educational attainment does not represent the level of awareness about the statutory employees' rights among shop assistants. That's all from our group. Thank you.